Hi everyone, my name is Andy. Today I will talk about updated outpatient clinic database system. This is my agenda about my presentation today. First, I will notice about some updated information in database system. Second, I will list some required features for API including store procedures, user authentication, role-based access control, indexes, views, and triggers. The requirement is set up a system that records all inserts, updates, and deletes to a specified set of database history tables. By logging on change to the underlying data, it is possible to determine how exactly the data in the database was modified over time, as well as who made the change and when. My solution is create an additional history table and using the trigger to fire the event handler for checking the change of tables. For every table whose history of change need to be checked, we need to create an additional history table. This history table would have the same schema as the original table plus 3 additional columns to capture who made the change and when, and if the change was the deletion of the record. These 3 additional columns might be named change by, change on, and deleted. This statement is the coding of the trigger to fire the event handler after deleting a record inside the table named building detail. This statement is the coding of the trigger to fire the event handler after updating a record inside the table named building detail. Advantage of this solution is that make searching the audit log very easy since the history table's schema is very similar with the original table schema. For example, if a user wants to see all changes that were made to a particular building detail, the user can just run a query like the following. And how about the disadvantage of this approach is that because the history table's schema is tied directly to the original schema, anytime the original table's schema is modified, the user needs to be certain to also modify the history tables. Additionally, because this approach creates one history table for each table whose change need to be checked, it could double the number of tables in databases. This is the solution I have used in this project that requires checking database change. I found that it works best with the database that changed to the original table's schemas is infrequently. So in this solution, each table needs to create an additional history table for checking data change. There are some kind of roles in this system. First, this is administrative role. The administrative role is access for users that perform administrative tasks. Second, technical role. This is role for users that perform technical tasks, such as developing some new features based on the requirements, maintenance the database system, such as backup database. Number 3, patient role. This role for user to perform the patient task, such as see the drive with the information, set up and visit order with physicians, update the information. Number 4. Physician role. This is for user to perform the physician task, such as see the private the information, update the information, cancel and prescription order, or update the some information. Number 5. Receptionist role. Access for user to perform the receptionist task, such as see the on patient information, see all information of room available or occupied, set up and visit order with physicians for the patient if the patient required by the telephone or website via internet. Number 6. Billing role. This is for one end user to the billing account. We can use the create growth and drop growth statement for creating and removing roles, and we can use the statement grant and revoke to assign privilege or revoke privilege from user accounts and roles. MySQL stores accounts in the user table of the MySQL system database. An account is defined in terms of a username and the client host or host from which the user can connect to the server. An account may also have authentication credentials such as a password. The credentials are handled by the account authentication plugin. To create the user account, we can use the create user statement as the below. After that, we can assign each user account with the privilege. This database supports some functionalities, such as allow the user could edit the raw information, for example, patient address or insurance, via using the store procedures. It also supports searching the patient record based on the name, the other information such as the visit date. And it also supports the reporting functions. For example, it could list the on patient who satisfy certain selection conditions, such as who visited on certain days or who have been seen by a certain doctor or provider, and so on. And this is the complex store procedures implemented on this database system. Something like get the list of 3 patients by much in clinic, or get the list of provider include number of the patient, or get the list of the provider have number of patient at least 3 or certain number as parameter, and so on. In creating some indexes on the tables in this system, we using the create indexes statement to create the indexes. For example, in this case, we create the new indexes named billing detail date on the table named billing detail, and we also created some indexes on another tables such as patient, provider, rooms, vital sign, disease, and so on. And we using materialization to speed up the query execution by producing a sub-query research as a temporary table. This system also is implementing the list of views, for example, view for searching on the list of the room, or view for list of the all patients, or view for searching the first 5 patient records, and so on. This system also implementing some triggers on the tables. First, we using the trigger to fire the event handler for checking the change of table. There are 2 kinds of the trigger. First, trigger for after the updating a record, And the second, the trigger for after deleting on record. The second, I also implement the trigger to enforce data consistencies. This trigger to make sure the total amount in table name building detail is equal of sum of the other fees. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any question, please contact me.